Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a DIY project on how to make your own free table saw. Well, hello everyone and welcome back. If you're a regular to the channel, welcome back. Glad to see you again. If you're new to the channel, how about hitting that subscribe button so you get notified of all future videos I produce, and ring that bell or you won't get the notifications. And you definitely want to know what I produce because they're all videos oriented to help out you guys. Anyway, so what we're doing today is I'm going to show you how to make your own DIY free table saw. If you don't have a table saw, this should come in really handy for you, and under other circumstances as well, because I already know some of you people are stopping the video and saying, what do I need my own table saw for? I can go out and buy one. Or I should say, what do I need a DIY table saw for? I can just go out and buy one. Well, there's several reasons and several situations where this can come in handy. For example, let's say, like some folks out there, you're kind of short on cash. You don't have the money to buy a table saw. And let's be honest here, table saws are not cheap. And if it's something you don't use on a regular basis, is it cost effective really to go out and buy one? Or is it cheaper to just make your own? For example, most table saws are going to be a couple $100 and up, depending on the brand, the place you buy it, etc. Using Harbor Freight as an example, the cheapest one out there as far as I know right now, you're looking at about $100 roughly speaking on sale with coupon, whatever, around $100. And that you have to also buy, I believe the blade is not included, so put the cost of the blade on top of that, and you have to buy a stand for it. So all told, you're looking at around $200 minimum, unless you go out and get a used one or something like that, but we're not looking at that. We're looking at new stuff. So most of them are going to be $200 and up. You don't have the money. I can help you with that. Another situation is, let's say you don't have the room. This is a problem I run into with a lot of things. I've run out of room to store things. So sometimes you want to have whatever tools you have do double or triple duty. Be able to do multiple things at the same time. And being foldable, being collapsible, being able to put it away, tuck it away in a corner somewhere. If you're not using it all the time, you don't want it in the middle of your shop bothering you all the time. Especially if you use your shop as a garage like I do. I don't have a dedicated shop like some people do. So my cars need protection, and that's my focal point right there. So folding and taking up minimal space, that's an important factor which I can help you with also. Another thing, let's say we've been talking about DIYers. Let's say you're on the job site and your table saw goes kaput. Your table saw stops working. What are you going to do? Is that the end of your day right there? Is it lunchtime and boom, the rest of your day is garbage because your table saw stopped working? Or are you going to go to the store and blow the rest of your day buying another table saw? Of course not. So I'm going to show you how to make a table saw, and you can just throw stuff together you have at your job site, make a quick table saw, keep on going, and utilize the rest of your day so you don't waste it. And let's face it, time is money. So you want to make the most out of your day on the job site. And then you can always go buy one later when you have some free time, if you decide to do that. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the things that you need. And A, it's going to be cheap. B, is going to be easy. C, is going to be useful and fun to do. So I'm going to show you the things you do. The things you need. Most of these things you probably already have lying around. So they should cost you nothing to make. And you're going to add another tool, a useful tool, to your arsenal. Let's get started. Okay, so before we get started putting it all together, these are the basic items that you're going to need to make your folding DIY, collapsible, easy to put away table saw. Over here you have some sawhorses. Over here you have a piece of plywood tabletop, whatever you want to use. And you have your table saw. Now, I basically grabbed anything that was easy to grab to be able to make this, following through the example of grab whatever you have on hand. If you want to use this table saw method a lot more often, I would suggest you piece it together with better things so you can have a better tool. But let's just go with making it on the fly with whatever you have on hand. These plastic sawhorses are very popular, and people, have them a lot in their garage. They're very, very common. So that's why I grabbed these. I prefer to use some metal sawhorses, and that's what I would use in a situation like this, so it's sturdier and safer to use. These are my throwaway sawhorses, let's call it, my beater sawhorses. I use them for whatever is going to beat the heck out of them. You see they're all painted and messy and dirty, and I really don't care what happens to them. So these are my beater sawhorses. So they were quick and easy to grab. The other ones that I have, my metal ones, are much better, much sturdier. I would prefer to use those, but I would have had to take more time to dig them out. Goes against the premise of this video. Grab whatever you have on hand. This over here is a simple tabletop that I was going to throw away, and I thought it would be excellent for this video. It is the perfect dimension that you're going to want. Something about 4 feet by 4 feet, something like that, 3 by 3, any square dimension that you have that is convenient to make a quick tabletop, a top for your table saw, I should say. And considering this has a laminate on it, it makes it excellent, because a laminate will make whatever you're cutting slide over the top much, much easier. Now you can use any piece of plywood if you have it handy. I wouldn't go any thinner than 1/2 inch plywood, but 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4, anything along those dimensions would be the perfect way to go. Don't go any thinner, or the weight of the weight of the saw will cause it to bow and make it ineffective as far as cutting things. So a laminate, if you have one handy, very, very convenient, make it easier for everything to slide. And again, if this is something that you want to keep and use on a more regular basis instead of a one-shot deal, the whatever top you use for it, I would say make it a dedicated top, and then you can cut in grooves in it, stops, grooves for your miter tool and so forth. You can make it more like a real table saw top by cutting it and shaping it and doing whatever you need to it to make it much more effective. But as a one-shot deal, this will do just fine. And your electric saw. The saw is the heart of the whole operation, and any saw that you have that you can bolt to this will be perfect. So let's start putting it together. Now, as far as the circular saw goes, you're going to have to figure out a way to attach your saw to the bottom of your work surface, the tabletop, for example. So you're going to have to find some way to do it. And in this case, you see this table saw, this circular saw has a couple holes already drilled right here on the front, on both sides. But it doesn't have anything on the back that we can utilize. So you're going to have to, or I'm going to have to, in this case, drill a couple of holes on the back of the saw to be able to make it attachable. As you can see on the back of the saw here, it is a flat surface with no attaching points. So I'm going to have to drill a couple of holes, one in each corner, to be able to attach all 4 corners of this circular saw to the bottom of the tabletop. Now, to attach the circular saw to your surface, you're going to need some wood screws and some washers to give you a good attachment. Try not to get very big ones. You don't want to go through the top of the work surface, otherwise you're going to have to file them down. And then you need to find the center point of the work surface, which mine is 27 inches by 27 inches, so the center would be 13.5, as you can see already marked right there. Then we're going to find the center of the saw and try to match up the two of them. So let me do that. Now, as you can see, I drew some lines on the tabletop here to be able to orient myself, and then I marked where the center points are for the saw. So I was able to line them up both ways. That way the saw is directly in the center of the work area. Now all we have to do is attach it to the surface. Okay, now one thing I will say, I'm attaching it right now so it's easy to take apart and quick and dirty to put it together. But if you're going to be using this as a more permanent situation where you want to use it as your regular table saw that you can take apart and put back together, I would suggest a couple of improvements. First of all, drill the holes through. Don't just attach them like I'm doing right now. And put some carriage bolts from the top coming through. And then make them flush on top. That way carriage bolts with nuts on this side will give you much better support. And make them flush so you can cut evenly above them and not have a problem. If you want to go one step further, you can put a metal plate on the top, on the opposite side of this, on the other side. Put a metal plate and then put the carriage bolts and all that and make it all flush. That way you'll have much better support for this. So it depends how far you want to go with this. Okay, so now what you want to do is set up your sawhorses so you can put the work surface on top of them. Make sure there's nothing underneath so it's clear for the blade. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a plunge cut. That's why I'm showing you underneath here. Because you need to establish where the blade is going to go through. You already attached it to here, so it's going to stay there, and that gives you a very clear cut on here so you don't have any wobble and so forth. So I'm going to cut right through right now. Make sure you have everything released back here so it can easily plunge through. Once you're fully down, then all you do is lock it in place. Now there you can see the saw attached underneath and the blade coming out through the top. Orient the sawhorses and the saw so that it's convenient for you with the cord and the trigger and all that stuff underneath. Now the trigger on this does not have a situation where it locks in place for safety reasons. So what you're going to have to do is put a zip tie on it on the on position so it'll always be on. And I'm going to show you in a minute how to trigger it from outside. So be careful when you do that. Make sure you have it unplugged so that it doesn't go on unexpectedly. Safety first, remember that. One thing also to point out, you can see here how the screws I used went through just a tiny little bit. The tip of the screw came through. If I had planned a little bit better in advance, I could have used 2 or 3 washers and prevented that from happening. But it's not a big deal because all you do is grind it down flush with the surface and you don't have any problem at all. If you were to make this your permanent tabletop, then I would suggest you fill it in with some wood dough or something so it's nice and smooth and better to look at. But on a quick and dirty job, all you do is grind it off, flush with the surface, and you're done and ready to go. No problem at all. Okay, so we're getting there. We're almost ready to use the new table saw. But what I would suggest, you could leave this just the way it is right now with the top on the sawhorses, and it should stay in place just fine. The weight of it should keep it where it is. But as an extra safety feature, I would recommend taking some long screws, 2 or 3 inch screws, and attaching all 4 corners of the table to your sawhorses to prevent any movement whatsoever. Again, safety. Now your table is secure and it should not go anywhere. And make sure those screws are flush. Okay, so we have the circular saw attached to the bottom of the tabletop, and the tabletop has been secured to the sawhorses. So now everything is safe to use for the most part, as safe as we can make it. One thing I would suggest, I already zip tied the on-off switch so it is permanently on. And the way I would suggest to turn it on, and you can create your own method, but this is a quick and easy way to do it, is get yourself a foot pedal. This is a simple little click on, click off foot pedal, and you can either put it on the ground, hit it with your foot, or attach it to the table, attach it to the sawhorse, wherever it's convenient for you that you can hit it really quick, on and off, in an emergency, whatever the case might be. Attaching it like right here would be very good because it's right next to where you're standing, so you can click it on and off real easy. So that's what I would suggest. And again, maybe a screw, maybe some zip ties, whatever the case may be, you set up your own situation, whatever is convenient for you. And I'm sure you understand how easy this works, but I'll show you right now how it works. And the saw may just kick on. I don't know if I have it on or off with the switch. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So that tells you right here, tells you right there it's off, and the saw is right there. And that's the quick and easy way to do it. Okay, now so a quick demonstration to show you how well this works as a quick and dirty table saw. And there you have it. That shows you how well this works. So if you're looking for a quick way to make a table saw, quick and dirty, or if you're looking for a DIY table saw that you can make in your shop for yourself with stuff you already have lying around so it doesn't really cost you anything, this is a great way to go. And it can all be dismantled and put away so you don't have this big monstrosity in the middle of your shop. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something from it. Click that subscribe button and ring that bell so you get notified of any future videos I produce. And I hope you enjoyed this and you click that like button. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.